All right, here we go. We rolling? All right, here we go. A lot of updates this week. Too much time on my hands is probably the understory here, but in any case, I'm making some excellent progress in my signal flow here. So, brought the Analogman compressor back. Again, using it kind of as, let's turn some stuff off here. Okay, so with and without the compressor, got my my Eric Johnson Strat today. With one of the other many changes this week is I decided to try out, I thought it was very curious that Hendrix used light bottom heavy top, so I'm trying out some of these Voodoo Child strings on my Strats, or just this Strat. My other one's set up for left-handed. I'm just practicing on that, so I'm not going to waste strings. But okay, so no compression. Center pickup. Just brings it back to life. The Tim, by the way, also just there for both these things are there to make things a little nicer sounding, a little more luxurious. Okay, so compression, I brought the red dot back, got inside and tweaked it. I have been playing with a pick again. Cleans up nicely. Neck pickup, tone rolled off. Roll off the volume a little. So there you go. There's a quick look at the red dot. This is one of the new arrivals this week. And to put it simply, it's fantastic. It's one of those ones you want to have. I can't believe nobody's made a dual ODR. One so you could run it kind of dirty, and the other one so you can ride it with more gain like this. Yeah, great sounding pedal. Okay, then I've got the Intelligent Harmony Machine. So it's just an octave up under there, which is what I kind of use it most of the time. Octave down. I haven't been using that as much though because on the Nano Cortex I created a bass patch so I can pitch shift my guitar down and create bass backgrounds. The other thing I use this for is the sixth harmony. What do I got here? Yeah, A minor. It works pretty good. You got to kind of know how to work around it. But once you figure that out, you can even get the whole harmonies thing going. But in a general way, I put it in polyphonic mode and just have an octave in there. Okay, up to the Tim. And in the effects loop on the Tim, I've got On the boost, I've got my volume pedal on the ground. Not much to report there, but this is the big update. Well, there's two updates, but this is the big one. So I've always loved the Deluxe Memory Man, the 24-volt ones. This one I found, it's got all three Analogman mods on it. It's got all 3008 chips in it. Wouldn't mind finding one with 3005s in it and see how it sounds with really long delay times. But for my, just kind of my favorite basic delay sound, this is it. With a pick here because I got blisters. Just one of those things I could make sounds on all day long and be happy. Tubby sounding right now, but that's okay. Just wonderful sounding. And then the other new arrival is the Flow, which is a tremolo pedal. Right now, I currently have, let's turn off the Memory Man. I currently have it on the Dharma setting, which is some sort of phaser / univibe thing. But it's just great sounding. A phaser or a univibe though, because it's volume based. I don't know, maybe that's univibe-ish. Mix it with the Memory Man though. Like that too. I really like the trem sounds on this thing though. These things are, I've tried a number of trems over the years and I always end up passing them along, but these are only $100 right now. And I love the way UA voices stuff. Thick on the bottom there. Still on the middle pickup on my Strat bridge. Just folds over real nice. That analog delay pushing it. Let's take the volume pedal out of the mix there. Add in the harmony machine. So that's the big change. I've had this thing posted on Reverb for, I don't know, a week or so, and I kind of priced it high because I didn't really want to get rid of it, but I wasn't using it, so I don't want it taking up space. But I hate to say it, it kicked the Starlight actually just into a different spot on my board, and then ultimately the Galaxy got booted, and we'll get to that. So we're going out of the Flow into the Nano Cortex, which I haven't really made much changes there other than tweaking it. And then, of course, I have my bass sound. See how that sounds with the Flow. And since we're sitting here, I'm just going to do a quick loop. And I'll illustrate why, but let me just get a quick loop in here. That's a little in your face, but good enough. And actually, let me add a rhythm into it too while I'm at it. I'll do at a different time. So there you go. So I'm going out of the Flow into the Nano Cortex. Now this is where it's a little bit different than my last posting. Is now I'm going out. I wanted to, the reason I started this process is I wanted to go balance lines out of the Cortex into the SSL6. Ended up not working that way, even though I was able to hook it up, because I can't. I had the looper between the Tim and the Memory Man, but that means then I couldn't record bass onto the looper. Now I could go stereo out of the Cortex into the Infinity, into channels 1 and 2 over here, but there's no real point. I'm not using stereo effects on the Cortex, and even though the Infinity's quote unquote stereo in and out, it's GIGO, it just replicates whatever. So I can keep discrete left and right if I need to, but there's no need for it right here because everything's mono prior to it. So I'm going out of the Cortex into the Infinity, out of the Infinity, up into just channel 1 now. And again, you've heard that. Which allowed me to bring my mic back into channel 2. So now I can use the channel compression. I can use the preamp. I can use the EQ. I've got a lot more moldability for my voice over here. And not that I need to do a lot with my voice, but I'm back into a regular channel. One thing I learned, by the way, on the channel compressors for the SSL, when I was reading up on what warrants using the high impedance switches on the things, it did talk about their intent with the channel compressors, and it very specifically states in the owner's manual on the 6 that it's the compressors are not good for bass or pads. So one thing I did to really help remedy some of that muddy low end I was dealing with is really just taking the channel compressor out, which is good. Is it great? No. Is it good? Yep, works just fine. I'm not fully dialed in here yet, though, with how I'm treating the low end. I do have the channel EQ in. I am dialing out some treble and some bass, but I need to be able to get that one EQ working for my bass patch as well as my just regular guitar tone. So that's just a quick side note on the mixer now. I'm still going out the Q send out to the microcosm, out of the microcosm into the Starlight, and then back in. So one thing I did with the Starlight here, let's just solo that. So you're just hearing the effects loop now into channels 3 and 4. And the nice thing about that is, now that I've got the Memory Man and the flow, it is a little bit of a wet signal feeding those two things too. Okay, so microcosm, I haven't changed too much. I'm still using the mosaic effect that I've been using. I'll be able to use, so on the Starlight, I'm also using the Deluxe Memory Man, but now I've got it in stereo. And of course, the Deluxe Memory Man pairs well with the Deluxe Memory Man. In fact, I used to own 2 Deluxe Memory Mans. There's probably a couple of videos on my channel here, me using both of them. But this one's actually in stereo. And the preamp color on the Starlight is why I took the Galaxy off. The Galaxy does some really wild, spacey stuff. I really love it, but in this iteration, I don't have a home for it. So, but because I'm bringing the looper in prior to going into channel 1 here, it's also going to feed the effects loop. So when I bring it in, this will actually be an interesting test recording to see how well my lead guitar mixes. Now, one thing I've been enjoying here the last couple days, and as soon as I'm done talking, I'm gonna mute my bike and jam out a little bit. But the Sunface actually stacks well with the ODR. In fact, I can get some pretty smooth sounds coming out of it. Just got to get my volume right. Now I do have the phrase looper here too, which I can, fade in pads and such, record myself some sort of looped pad prior to dealing with the whatever loop I got going on in the Infinity. Otherwise, the Infinity is going to feed the loop I'm trying to record onto here. So that Dharma thing, as you can hear, a little too prevalent. Let's head over and try just a trem sound here before we get much further. All right, I'm going to make it a little bit... takes too much away from leads. Could try compensating with that volume. Yeah, let's try that. Oh yeah, it's nice. Get a little faster too. All right, I'm gonna mute my mic and jam for just a minute. So there we go, quick updates. Oh, you know what? I realized channel 1 hasn't even been on. Too funny. Let's try it again. That's a lot of fun. I miss playing loud. In any case, yeah, that Dharma setting there, that's some sort of univibe thing going on without the irritating lopsidedness of a univibe. I'm liking that quite a bit. But in any case, hope all is well on your end. Have a good one.